A week ago saw a Hollywood four-hander featuring veteran women's stars, 80 for Brady. Now, hot on its heels comes the very similar Book Club 2, the sequel to a 2018 romantic comedy that Wild Horses notably failed to drag me along to see.
We're four smart, successful women. I don't need a man. What is the point?
Who still has any interest?
Ladies, I am not going to let us become those people who stop living before they stop living.
Jane Fonda is the frisky one, Candice Bergen is the grumpy one, Mary Steenburgen is the long-time married one, and Diane Keaton is the recently widowed one. They're members of a book club that gets a shake-up when Jane brings in, wait for it, 50 Shades of Grey. I think that might have been what decided me to give it a miss.
I would like to introduce you to Christian Grey.
Oh, no. We started this book club to stimulate our minds.
From what I hear, this book is quite stimulating.
Oh, wow.
Well, 5 years later, I'm not so lucky, so I did the bare minimum of research, which turned out to be all I needed to do. At the end of the first book club, Jane gets Don Johnson, Diane gets Andy Garcia, Mary stays married to Craig T. Nelson, and Candice, well, I don't know what happens to her. He's gone by the second film.
Life is like a really great novel. You never know what the next chapter will bring.
Hello!
One question, what's going on with the gloves?
I'll show you what's next.
What?
Oh, my God. You're engaged?
I know what you're asking. All these strong, successful and famous women, and they're still being defined by who they're with? Yes, they are. And the sequel leans into that by getting Jane engaged and therefore in need of a hen night. A bachelorette party.
To Viv and Arthur.
Oh, thank you.
I think we should all go to Italy.
Italy. Whoa.
We'll make it Viv's Bachelorette.
A bachelorette trip, what are we doing?
I think it's very romantic.
But it's also nuts.
Well, the good news for me is they're going to Italy, to Rome, Venice and Florence, no less. And while the book club only seems to be interested in wine and food, there's enough art and beautiful vistas behind them to keep the rest of us awake.
Rome is a great walking city.
Belle donne, le viti più vecchie danno l'uva più dolce.
What did he say?
The older the vines, the sweeter the fruit.
Oh,
Yes,
look
we
at
still
us.
got it.
Now, in case you missed it, the first book club provided most of the stars with their happy endings, so that doesn't leave much room for a sequel. There are some half-hearted attempts to get each of them into trouble, meaning tempting alternatives to the rather boring chaps waiting for them at home.
I'm delighted that you'll be joining us tonight.
There's no problem if four random women show up.
This is Italy. There's always room for random, beautiful women.
Gianni,
Who is Gianna?
what are you doing here?
This is my cooking school.
Wow.
I'm here to start an amuse-bouche.
I think somebody's bouche is already quite amused.
However, knowing their target audience, at least the audience I saw this with, Book Club 2 makes sure it stays on the respectable side of temptation, with one exception. As the lone solo voyager, Candice Bergen is given licence to cavort with both a chap she meets in a bar, as well as Italian star Giancarlo Giannini playing the exasperated police chief.
It's too bridal. It's not bridal enough.
Gorgeous. Someone else next.
Don't move. What are you doing?
That would be me.
Now, it's customary when reviewing movies like this to throw one's hands in the air and wonder why actors of this stature, 13 Oscar nominations between them and 4 wins in fact, should stoop to making something like Book Club 2, the next chapter. But I understand completely.
This is a bachelorette party. You know what that means?
We go see naked men. What's the protocol here? Where do I stuff the dollar bills?
It's nice to be wanted after all, and Jane, Candice, Mary and Diane obviously enjoyed working with each other. Add to this a free trip round some of the most picturesque parts of one of the most captivating countries in Europe, and who'd say no, even if you do have to say stuff like this.
Hello, you've reached the home of the retired and gifted. Where are you? I'm in a church.
What? Are you serious?
We're looking for a venue for the wedding.
You are going to get married in a church?
I'm shocked you didn't burst into flames as you crossed the threshold.
Because Jane has the most to do, it's a relative term you understand, but in this case it means endless soul-searching about whether she should get married, she comes out of Book Club 2 worst. The storyline is woeful and the dialogue is mostly a string of feeble gags.
Roma. I love this city.
I love anything that's falling apart more than I am.
Mary Steenburgen comes out of the film best, apart from one scene with an accordion. Candice Bergen has to put up with the most demeaning dialogue, while Diane Keaton simply dials up Diane Keaton on her to-do list.
How does a woman in her 70s end up getting married? She takes control of her own destiny.
Incidentally, the book that gets mostly referenced in Book Club 2 is an Italian bestseller called The Alchemist, which is all about, I read, how important your dreams are and how you should follow them. I think I might put that on the 50 Shades of Grey pile.
Life is unpredictable. And it's the surprises that make it worth living.
Scusi, signora. Chef Johnny says if you would like, you should see his cucina.
I'm sorry, see, is cucina?
It means kitchen.
I bet it's big. Just don't do anything I would do.
That's actually really good advice.
On the plus side, there are lovely shots of Rome, Tuscany and a slap-up Italian banquet. On the minus side, well, let's just say it's not a patch on the many classic movies the Fab Four made their names with, unless this bit is a callback to Jane Fonda's Oscar-winning turn as a hooker in Clute.
Buonasera, signore.
Wait a minute. A buff cop just happens to drive by. Okay, show me your concealed weapon. No. I do think he missed his calling.
Somehow I doubt it. Book Club 2, the next chapter, shows no evidence that the scriptwriters have seen anything more demanding than National Lampoon's European Vacation. But if you're expecting a room with a view, you've joined the wrong book club.